Then the line of "we'll keep throwing Noghri" it just makes you think of Futurama.
Yeah. Wave after wave of my own men until they reach their kill count. They just shut off.
Oh, the killer robots. Oh yeah.
No, the kill bots. Yeah.
Meaning that Thrawn and Zap Brannigan had the same plan, so same intellect level.
I wonder if Thrawn's outfit is made of real velour. He's like, Pelion, I have made it with the woman. Inform the
men. She was really into my art collection.
Thrawn has been moved now. He's just Zap Brannigan.
Hello there. You found the lost Holocron, an ancient artifact of lore and legends from a galaxy far, far away. Each transmission of the lost Holocron, you will join an episodic discussion of media from the Star Wars universe. We will be your guides. Tim?
Back from Tashi Station.
Kyle?
Hi.
Myself, Scott? And Stuart.
Hi, Sai.
We will be covering the material up to and including Chapter 27 of Heir to the Empire. So, Tim, what happened so far?
The New Republic is in the painful process of transitioning from a military power to a political one. However, the continuing threat of the Imperial Remnants have come under the command of a new, unknown, and prestigious commander, Grand Admiral Thrawn. The Admiral's plot to overthrow the New Republic and reestablish the Galactic Empire involves kidnapping the New Republic's Force-sensitive heroes, pregnant Leia Organa Solo and Luke Skywalker, in order to negotiate the allegiance of Dark Jedi clone Joruus C'baoth. On Kashyyyk, Leia and Chewbacca thwart another abduction, and during the interrogation of a captured Noghri operative, Leia is identified by Khabarakh, the captured Noghri operative, as the heir of Darth Vader, whom the Noghri people revere. Despite Salporin, Chewbacca's childhood friend, having died in the attempted abduction, Leia grants clemency in the hopes of being granted a solo parley on the Noghri homeworld. On Merkur, Luke is at the mercy of the unforgiving wilderness and, even more scarily, Mara Jade, as she marches him at blaster point back to civilization. Reaching a breaking point, Jade reveals that she was an operative subordinate to the Emperor himself, the Emperor's hand. Blaming Luke for the despoliation of the Emperor and all that buttressed her existence, she begrudges the charity that he shows her in spite of all her animosity. Scott, what happened in this chapter?
Grand Admiral Thrawn and Captain Pelion are entering active preparation for the raid on Sluice Van. The Imperial Remnants have stretched their resources to implement the prototype shield technology they recovered from the Emperor's storehouse on Wayland, and now is the final test. Thrawn is pleased with the outcome of both their preparations and the prototype test, and greenlights their Sluice Sea operation. Pelion raises objections to Thrawn's self-assurance, but has his points thoroughly rebuked by the Admiral. The operation will go ahead as planned, without the involvement of C'baoth. On Coruscant, the political climate is reaching a boiling point, with support waning from the bureaucratic Admiral Akbar in favor of the sentient of the people Phalia. Wedge grimly accepts his marching orders to fly escort for a shipment bound for Bafash via Sluice Van.
My favorite part of this chapter was when Pelion was like, C'baoth doesn't want power, and Thrawn's like, he's lying then.
Yeah.
Everybody wants power.
Yeah.
What man doesn't want power?
Unlimited power.
Yeah.
Which, we've been questioning what does Thrawn want out of all of this, and maybe this is a peek behind the curtain. Maybe he does want to be Emperor. I didn't think so before, but after this line, I'm questioning that.
Yeah, maybe he thinks a little too, I don't know, maybe he thinks a little too highly of, not highly, but maybe he doesn't quite read C'baoth as well as he thinks he does, because like we were discussing earlier in one of the earlier chapters, it seems like C'baoth's only interested in ruling over his own people, not just whoever he can, whenever it's convenient.
Yeah, but that's why I think that this line is more revealing about Thrawn than it is about C'baoth.
Right.
I think Thrawn wants power and C'baoth wants to own people.
Yeah.
C'baoth, he definitely, Thrawn seems like a dictator, where C'baoth seems like a cult leader.
Yeah.
I don't know. Power seems vague to me. What does he mean by what man doesn't want power? Like,
True.
Do you think Han wants power? I think he wants the power to do nothing if that's what he chooses.
Right.
I don't think Han wants to rule over people.
No, I feel like he just wants the power to, go about his business and fly under the radar and not be bothered by the, the fuzz. So,
yeah, I guess that's also the point of we did talk about Thrawn being he just wants to play his military strategy games, and once the galaxy is conquered, then he'll set up a rebellion to try and reconquer the galaxy and then do it all over again. It's just resetting the chessboard every time.
Yeah.
Maybe that is power to him. Maybe, yeah, I could see maybe it not being imperial power that he wants, but yeah, no, it certainly casts him in a new light.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of kind of reveals a little bit of a character flaw in Thrawn, because it's he expects everybody to want the same kind of power he does, but he's like everybody else wants whatever power they want their own power, but Thrawn is why doesn't anybody else want the kind of power I want?
I think that's very likely. I'm curious to know if it's specifically a blind spot with C'baoth.
I mean, he does seem to pick him correctly in that when he has captured Leia, that his true work is to mold her and the twins, and then everything else will just be an excursion that's getting in the way of his ideals. So he's correctly identifying that that's the power that he wants, but he also seems to be overreaching, reading too much into that power extends to other areas, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Thrawn act this way when discussing C'baoth a few times.
Yeah.
Still don't feel like I fully understand it.
Yeah.
It's like he's open to alternative ideas on everything except for this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering why that is.
Yeah.
Maybe he hasn't seen enough art of C'baoth.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Thrawn has I feel like he feels like he thinks he knows a lot more about Jedi than he actually does.
Yeah. I wonder if that's what we don't know about the Jedi, and maybe what Timothy Zahn was told in a back room of this is the kind of thing that happened before the fall of the Jedi, and this is a view into what the slice at that time, 1991, 1992, what was imagined about the pre-Clone War Jedi.
Right.
And it's that line from Revenge of the Sith of Anakin says to Palpatine at the ballet that, the Sith only want power for themselves, and he turns around and says, and the Jedi don't. It's that kind of thing. Everybody's afraid to lose the power that they have, and I feel like that was particularly true in Revenge of the Sith, and probably leading up to there was, Tim and I have talked on the side about how the downfall of the Jedi is how far they're steeped into the political process, not necessarily what they are as a religious order.
Right, yeah. Because they do accomplish a lot of great things. And I came across a Reddit post on the Monstellation that reminded me of that and completely changed how I view the Jedi. Because I used to be dogmatic religious order, awful, they brought it upon themselves. But now I'm no, they have good ideals and they did good things. They were just in a really intense lose-lose situation on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Part of it was them. Part of it was the corrupt, stagnant republic. Part of it was Palpatine and his shenanigans.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been approaching Thrawn's reaction to C'baoth as a potential blind spot. But let's flip it around. What if he's actually right and everyone else is misinterpreting C'baoth?
So C'baoth is unaware of his own dormant aspirations.
Yeah, like maybe Thrawn understands just how much of a threat he is. And so that's why he's very closed off to other ideas about him.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it's going with C'baoth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think for a second that Luke or Leia is going to go with C'baoth.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
Like, I just don't see that happening.
I mean, he did like tempt Luke a bit, so maybe he'll find some way.
I think he is somewhat interested,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm not too sure. Of all the things in this book, that were in this book, C'baoth, other than his cool like master chess move that he did, where he was controlling all the pieces on the board,
Right. Yeah.
like I don't know. I don't know where to go.
You know, C'baoth has been off playing his own game, and we really haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, barely
Right.
mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Maybe he's sitting on Wayland this whole time, wondering where Luke is.
Oh, no. He's on Jormac.
Oh, Joe Mark. Yeah.
Joe
Joe
Mark,
Mark.
yeah.
Yeah.
Strengthening those ass.
Right.
Yeah, he's
right.
probably setting up a gym or two there.
Yeah.
Already got a franchise going.
Yeah.
Jormac citizens, are you ready to join my cult?
Thrawn wants to understand it better, so he slips him some paper and some crayons so that he can figure out what he wants.
Yeah. Luke arrives and he's like, "Oh my god, dude! I have our whole exercise routine figured out for the next 3 years.
Well,
You've been gone so long."
What has it been? It's been like a month detour or something.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was a line that Thrawn said. They were talking about just throwing Noghri at this problem of trying to kidnap the Skywalkers, and it's like we had a line before of like, oh well, they're disposable. They're not disposable, but like we've got plenty of them in reserve, right?
Yeah.
And then Pelion has a pointed look at Rook,
after wave.
and he feels a little bit uncomfortable about speaking about the Noghri so coldly in front of like this bodyguard that's like right there.
Yeah.
And Rook hasn't been mentioned being around, but I imagine he's like one of those things that just appears out of nowhere,
Right.
right? He's that kind
Yeah.
of bodyguard.
He's always in the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That him saying it's going to be a long time before we run out of Noghri, that we're just going to keep throwing bodies at them. Like they can keep dying, but we'll eventually catch them. It's like, oof, geez, this is like, we knew this was cold, right? But it really paints a different picture, particularly after the revelation 2 chapters before, with Leia talking to Khabarakh about, on our home planet, we just want to be left to ourselves, but we are indebted because there is some sort of like disaster from the Clone Wars, and Lord Vader was the only person that would come and save us. So we are in their debt to do these things, and they are just being used as a political tool at this point, and it looks terrible. It looks terrible from the Imperial standpoint.
It does. Yes.
See,
Yeah.
I got the impression that the Imperials were the one that picked up the Noghri planet in the first place, and then here comes Vader, like pretty much the leader of the Imperials, coming to save them from their own. I don't know.
I don't know if it was strictly the Imperials. I think it was just
Maybe it was just like the battle.
right. Yeah,
There was some number of Star Cruisers above them.
Collateral damage.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They got destroyed. Them crashing on the planet had led to this ecological disaster that Vader comes in and says, I'm going to help you guys. We will clean up this mess. You know, we're here for you.
We'll clean up the mess.
And they're
we made.
like, great. Is there anything that we can do for you? And he's like, actually,
you can be our bodyguards.
Man, that I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely taking post Heir to the Empire information in here, but Vader approaching them like that just makes me think this is the result of someone who's come from like a slave background.
what do you mean?
I mean, it's altruistic. He sees their suffering and he like comes to help in some way. Granted, it's highly manipulative, but
Right.
taking, you know, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones into account, even though they don't exist yet.
Yeah.
I think it adds an interesting wrinkle to Vader's character and creates a stronger connection between Anakin and Vader.
Right.
Vader going to any like planet after a battle and being like, "Hey, what happened, you guys?" Seems weird. Do you think maybe Vader just crashed? Do you think he crashed and it's just like, yes, I meant to be here. What's going on with you guys?
It's possible, yeah.
As in, he was on the Crash Star Cruise, like he's surfing it down as it goes through the atmosphere.
Like Legolas on the giant elephant.
Just kind of walks out and was like, "Oh man!"
Tarkin says to him over the comms, "That still only counts as one."
Also, the line of "we'll keep throwing Noghri," it just makes you think of Futurama, where it's like they only have a certain, they have a kill count, so I kept throwing wave and wave after my own men after them.
I was thinking that too. Yeah. Wave after wave, my own men until they reach their kill count, they just shut off.
The killer robots. Oh yeah,
the killbots. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that same exact thing.
Meaning that Thrawn and Zap Brannigan had the same plan, so same intellect level.
I wonder if Thrawn's outfit is made of real velour. He's like, "Pelion, I have made it with the woman. Inform the
men."
She was really into my art collection.
Thrawn has been moved now. He's just Zap Brannigan.
Meanwhile, he's actually just mansplaining the art to this one the entire time.
If you don't think Thrawn is insufferable about his knowledge of art, then you're wrong.
He's like, "Sleuth Van, this is the battle we were training for all yesterday afternoon."
In the new canon novels, there. So I read the first one as we read this one, and there is a scene where he like mansplains it to the Pelion character in this one. What was his name? Eli. So he's there's another underling character in this one, Eli, and he walks in and he's glowing eyes and like this dark room. So I don't know how he's viewing this art. Like, he's viewing it in the infrared spectrum, but like it's hologram. So do they let off that kind of light? I don't know, but he's there viewing the art. Eli comes in and says like, "I really don't understand this," and he's like, "Oh, but it's right here. Like, here, look at this brushstroke. Look," like smashes his face up against the artwork and says, "This is the reason. This is where I'm getting my insights from." You really should learn something.
Well, maybe his artwork has like chiss mode. He can just push a button to chiss mode. And then, it's like only he can see the certain details, and then humans are like, "What?
Oh,
I just see a
that
wall."
reminded me. In this, in the chapter, we said the green light's the operation, right? My personal bugbear about people that are like, "Oh, there are animals that can see infrared, and I wonder what colors like infrared looks like." And I was like, "No, you've got the same color mapping in your brain. Everything just looks skewed in a certain. It's just a some sort of a matrix transformation on those colors so that it looks differently in your brain, because your brain's not going to come up with another color. You've got all the colors right there. That is all the colors. People that see infrared or whatever, or it's just going to be like that color map is now skewed to the portions that their eyes are sensitive to. And so they said that mantis shrimp can see 10,000 colors. And I was like, no. Well, humans can see 10,000 colors if you spend a lot of time studying how to see color.
I was just going to say that about the mantis shrimp. They have the ability, they have the hardware, their eyes to see millions of colors or whatever it is.
Yeah, and be very sensitive to these things.
But they don't have the brain to see that many colors, though.
Yeah, or not that they don't have the brain to see that, but their brain is also their qualia experience of seeing these colors is exactly the same as us. Like, they've only got the Roy G. Biv colors to work with in how a brain experiences color, but they are more sensitive to the graduation or
gradients.
Yeah, we talked about last episode how human language, you've only got a certain like noise space to work with that you can produce with the human trachea and mouth.
Right.
And different languages have different sensitivities to particular sounds, and it's just like that. The brain is working with the same color space, but their biology is more sensitive to the differentiation between very close colors that humans are not. And so it made me wonder, like, of course, in English, we all agree, regardless of, if people want to debate, that is my red the same as your red. But the point is that our brains are sensitive to the same wavelength of light to agree that this is the color red, regardless of whether your qualia is green in my experience. So Thrawn is green-lighting something. He's saying like, oh yes, this is green. But is there something about his like vision that maybe makes him more sensitive to different gradients? Yeah. Like he's more sensitive to the differences in either the color, the texture, the tone, the whatever in his eyes. But so maybe it doesn't look as aesthetic to him or something like that. But still, it still provides a lot of information that he is using to say, well, these people are like this because you can see it in their art.
What if Thrawn is the only one that can see lightsaber colors?
What if he sees in like high definition? That's why he pays so much attention to the art. You can see all the details and the brushstrokes and the little tips and everything.
He sees in 16K.
Yeah. But only in infrared.
I mean, very specifically in the other books, it says that he notices things in infrared, like the heat coming off people's faces and the tension of the different muscles in their faces and neck and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, he definitely has a bit more big brain in those books than this book. But so I'm very glad that Pellaeon is the point of view character in this, because it's just like, it reads so much better.
Yeah, I don't want to get inside Thrawn's head. I feel like it would ruin a lot of the allure.
I mean, those other books are still very well written. I know, and that first book, once I would get into the end, and I think, I'm just about to come to this point as well, particularly this chapter, that Timothy Zahn's writing gets better the more that you read it. Like the first few chapters, like, yeah, okay, this is setting up stuff, but like as stuff goes on, those details build and build and build to the point that like the last 10 chapters of his writing is gripping, I feel. And Tim, you talked about Steven Spielberg with a bomb under the table.
Oh, Alfred Hitchcock's
bomb under the table. This chapter is how you put a bomb under the table. You don't just put it there, but like we've had this setup of like the raid on Fash, and we've seen some like devastation. We know that there's going to be a lot of like restoration effort going on there. The New Republic has to put on a show to make them feel safe and included as a new member world of the New Republic. And we know that he has been planning this raid on Sluis Van for a very long time. And we see that, okay, they've got some new tech that is going to launch this surprise raid on Sluis Van. And we know that Sluis Van is, for some reason, in some biennial low point in their vigilance. And we also know that it's going to be crowded because as we get in the wedge section of this, there's a lot of traffic moving through that area. So we know that there's this huge setup and there's a huge amount of tension here at the end of the book about everything that's been building up until this point. And,
right, yeah.
Even in chapter 4, we said like things are paying off right now. We've set up things and we're at Binasari, and now like some of that tension is being released. And so, like, I feel like Zahn stories get that excellent payoff the more that you go through them.
Yeah. I'm having a little trouble understanding what exactly they're trying to do at Sluis Van. They're trying to move equipment through, right?
I think they are. So, what is the shield technology? What do you think the shield technology is doing?
The cloaking technology?
Yeah, the cloaking technology. What's it supposed to be doing, you think?
Hiding something.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I thought.
Cloaking. It's supposed to be cloaking.
But it's not hiding the outside of the ship, right? We get the thing, they flick the switch and the huge freighter doesn't disappear. And then Thrawn looks at the scanners.
Oh, it's hiding the inside.
It's hiding the inside, right?
Okay, that went over my head.
So they're hiding some sort of like attack vehicles inside other vehicles that they're passing off as reconstruction material for Fash. But as they get to this waypoint of Sluis Van, they open up these huge craters of what they think is going to be, raw materials, and turns out there's a ton of fighters in there, or there's like a small capital ship, or
Gotcha.
there's something in there that, like,
I see now.
oh, man, it's all just going to come out, and it's just going to be like they're shipping hornets' nests into this huge place that is a shipyard for the New Republic that's very important.
Gotcha. All right, I understand it now. Thank you. Yeah, I did not have a Thrawn mind.
Oh man, like this chapter, like, oh my god, this is what makes me so excited. This was like the best chapter so far for me.
What has happened with Kyle?
What has happened with Kyle?
He's cloaked.
Making his way through Sluis Van right now.
You must be using that cooking technology.
All right, back in.
Oh, he's back. Yay. All right. Well, Kyle's back.
We can confirm that the cloaking technology works.
Yes. Yeah. Kyle is now inside the Sluis Van shipyard.
I don't even know where I was.
No, that makes a lot of sense, though, when you lay out the plan like that.
Yeah, I hope that's where it's going, because oh man, that's just everything that what I see laid out in front of us.
Surprise space battle.
But yeah, I think Timothy Zahn's really good at this, building things up. So he must be one of those planners rather than a pantser, because I don't think you could build a story that intricate if you're just making it up on the fly.
No, this absolutely feels like something fully planned out to me.
Yeah,
and I think part of that could also explain why Mara was so grumpy for so long, because it wasn't according to the plan.
Oh, you think she might have been a late addition to the plot?
No, I just mean like there was a specific point where it had to be revealed, and he was just kind of like saving it for that.
Right. Yeah.
Prioritizing the long term over the short term.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, who knows? Maybe she was.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because I actually read on the Wikipedia that we've had thoughts about whether or not this has been a planned trilogy, and it seems like from its inception it was supposed to be a trilogy.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the next epic Star Wars that,
right,
I don't know, was in novelization form.
So this is episodes 7 through 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, I guess the thing is that this question still stands, even if this is planned. I think that there's a big difference between planned to be a trilogy and the trilogy was planned out and it was proved. Like, are we talking about this, I think we talked about the example of how Avatar, like, they knew the story beats they wanted from the beginning. And it wasn't just like, oh, we got to prove for another season. Whoa, here's the next chapter that we got.
I'm guessing from the way that this book seems to be planned is that the trilogy has been planned as well.
Good.
Or at least the major beats of this trilogy before this one was written. And maybe, Tim, you're right, that maybe Mara either was a last addition to the trilogy because we need to have more, feminine energy in this book, because otherwise it's just Leia and
and sometimes Winter.
And sometimes Winter.
I feel like we've talked about Winter more than this book has.
Right?
Yeah. Justice for Winter.
To be fair, with 45-minute episodes, we're talking about this book more than the book is talking about itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, either she was a last-minute addition, or as you point out, Tim, that her reveal had to come at a certain point in this book for her other story beats to fall in later books. And so that's why we got really stretched thin in the first, what chapter are we up to? Chapter 27, the first 25 chapters of this book.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if it felt better in retrospect once we get through.
Yeah.
I'm still open to change my mind.
Yeah.
On like Mara's plotting specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the mention of Paleon still being a little bit of a sourpuss of the force puppetry that Palpatine put them all through? It's interesting that he would be sour about that, yet also suggesting to use C'baoth at the next engagement.
He's like, oh no, Thrawn knows my secret. That does seem to be a bit of a sensitive spot for him. I wonder if he has a bit of pride in his work and his role. And maybe that's why he's this high up, because, I feel like he kind of gets portrayed as like this slightly kind of wimpy pushover or doorstep or whatever.
Oh, you think so?
Or just kind of, I'm trying to find the best way to describe it. He's just there. He's the sidekick, essentially. Like, he's the Robin to Thrawn's Batman. And, but it seems to me like there's a bit of ferocity to him as well.
Yeah.
And ambition.
He does bristle quite a bit with, pride, as you put it. And I think that it's interesting that he's a captain. I'm not sure how high that is supposed to be, but he's supposed to be in his 50s, so 50 years of experience or something that I mentioned in the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
That if he's a captain, but he's not particularly, he's not particularly active in the story. He's very deferential to what Thrawn wants and doesn't really seem to have a plan of his own.
Deferential, that's a good word. That's what I was searching for, yeah.
But I don't think it's just deferential either. Like, he doesn't have a lot of his own contribution to this thing, so I wonder if he's been a follower his entire career rather than a leader of any sort. And I wonder if that's why the puppetry kind of gets to him, because he feels like being a follower was not necessarily his choice.
Are we witnessing Pelion's self-actualization arc?
That actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
What I feel for everyone on the ship is, I don't think anyone's here because this is their best option. I think they're here because this is their only option. Because if I was on this ship, if I'm looking around and seeing my coworkers can get killed for an accident, and the overarching hierarchy has been destroyed, I wouldn't still be there if I had anything else.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they did mention both conscripts and volunteers.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
one of the chapters, and
there's definitely people here who are only here because there's a bed for them on the ship.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
They don't really expect the Empire to do anything, so they're just crashing.
Then it's like some of the issues in the US is that the military sign-up bases are in impoverished areas because that's the best option that people are going to get. So you get a big sign-up rate because you get to get off planet. You're going to make 2 times the salary that you would if you stayed in your mom and pop's shop, or it's not a great life, and that you're trading a lot for what is there, but you also know that what is there is not sustainable. It's not viable.
How do you think Imperial recruitment goes now? Do they have like a secret handshake or something?
No.
I think you get cornered outside of Little Caesars in a strip mall. They tell you there's going to be a lot of great opportunities for you.
You're a little bit drunk.
Yeah.
They like to get you between the third and the fourth beer.
They post on Space Craigslist. Or no, they're definitely on Space 4chan.
God.
No, but I think like there's still like imperially controlled worlds out there, so, and it seems to be the same size as the New Republic from the descriptions that we've been getting through this. So they probably have quite an authoritarian hold over many of these planets, and so people are, resentfully under them. And the idea that they could probably join the in crowd of the people who have power, it's just like why people joined, the Nazi Party in 1930s Germany, because, it's an opportunity at being able to chase the scapegoat.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. When you stoke fears of one specific identity group, then you can certainly radicalize a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
That doesn't sound right to me.
I mean, it's not right, but it happens.
Kyle is too pure at heart.
Yeah.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbow.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last part of the chapter, we have Wedge getting some marching orders from an unnamed... I'm not even sure what to call the guy he's getting it from, because he's not given a name, which, again, call back to the first chapter when I said people shouldn't be making too many names to remember. But, Wedge is the star of this chapter.
The Dispatcher.
The Dispatcher. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of Wedge. I don't know why. I always forget he exists, and then he gets mentioned. It's like, Wedge.
Good old Wedge, yeah. I feel like that's how everyone feels about him, actually.
I feel the same way about Porkins.
I mean, they both seem very nondescript everyman kind of person, but they're also a crack pilot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
when Wedge is around, it's like, all right, I'm safe now.
Yeah, but he doesn't give you that, like, Rook is your bodyguard
Yeah.
protection feelings. It's more of like a warm,
Right.
everything's going to be okay because my buddy's here.
Yeah.
And then the dispatcher says, oh, you're one of Akbar's diehards, aren't you?
Right. Yeah. I bet Phalia is dropping some hot populist rhetoric
Yeah.
over in Coruscant.
Yeah.
I was rereading one of the newer books, and I forgot there's a scene in the newer books where Admiral Akbar is in a training room shirtless doing staff training.
Oh, hell yeah. Yes, please.
So that's how I always picture him now.
Do you think he's ripped too?
What would that even look like? He looks like he has like a hard shell.
He's like one of those crabs that just like with their claws.
Yeah.
What does a ripped Mon Calamari look like?
Careful. Be very careful with this Google search.
Yeah, put it in safe mode.
I love the idea of just Admiral Akbar just grabbing someone in a headlock and taking them down.
Just takes off his shirt and he's got like nothing but tentacles just wiggling around.
Oh god.
Okay, so there is a safe to view Mon Calamari on the Wikipedia, where it's got them in some sort of like not exactly a Speedo, but a one-piece bathing suit for both the male and the female.
More detail. Shirtless Mon Calamari. Oh, okay, I see it. They kind of got abs, yeah.
Yeah. So, they've got similar musculature to humans, I guess.
Oh,
I'm seeing a photo that looks like it's from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It's like a younger one, but like it's like in a tank top.
Wait a minute, is that abs or gills?
Throughout their I would think that would be gills.
Yeah, it looks like gills to me.
Yeah, I think gills.
Because if it's similar to human, they're taking in water through their mouth, going down into some lungs, and then it's below the lungs that it's being pushed out. Not like in a fish where they have it's kind of like a rake for oxygen molecules in the backs of their mouths, and that's how fish breathe. So it's passing through this filter, the oxygen's being extracted, and it comes out behind their head.
Nice.
I do like this, the Mon Calamari, like forearm shell. I think I've kind of got some little spikes on them.
Yeah.
They seem like they would be pretty dangerous to go hand to hand with.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, what a cool species.
No.
Kind of, I mean, stupid name, of course, but very, very cool.
It's a Star Wars name.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a couple steps above like J.K. Rowling's naming structure.
Yeah. It's not terrible, but
If there was like a sheep species and they called them mutton, it's like the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
If there was a chicken species, it would probably be like the poultarians or something.
the Poultarians, I like that.
The pollo.
We should have, now that we know what the Mon Calamari muscle structure is like, now we need to solve this conflict with a flex off between Admiral Akbar and Phalia.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the only way I see this going now.
I guess that's the thing, is that there has to be the strongest species, right? Just general. Like, if you got the average from every planet, one of them is the strongest species. Whatever the species Drax is. Not Drax, Dax.
Dax is Dinah from episode 2
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the forearms.
Dex.
Dax.
Yeah, Dex.
Pong Krell was the same species.
Ponkrell, yeah.
What was Cal Kestis's Jedi Master's species?
Oh, yeah.
Lasat. Yeah, that's a strong one.
Who's Lasat?
Those are big boys. I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Zeb.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I thought Lasat was supposed to be dead by that point, though. I thought he was the last one.
No, there were just very, very few.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not many of them.
Because it was, well, in Rebels, after the rise of the Empire, is genocided a word?
It suits our purposes in this moment.
Yeah, so the Imperials actually committed genocide against the Lasats and the Lasat homeworld after the rise of the Empire, so they would have been more common in the twilight of the Republic, so definitely enough for Cal Kestis and Master to viably be one. Or realistically be one. Probabilistically be one.
Oh, wait, what am I talking about? We're talking about the strongest species. Wookiees. They're known to be the strongest, and that's why they're enslaved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I mean, I think of the Ninth Sister species from Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like a pretty beefy one.
Yeah, they are all...
Was she like the really big one with like
big.
the little tusks coming out of her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be scared to go up against one of them.
Yeah.
I've seen this many times, but never figured out a good pronunciation for it, but it's Dowutin.
What is it?
Dowutin.
Also, what does the internet say? Strongest? Oh, interesting. I typed in the strongest species in Star Wars, and number one on the list is the Mon Calamari.
Oh,
Really?
And
Hell yeah.
on
The
that?
strength or
I don't know what this is based off of, but it says Mon Calamari, Rodian, Korean.
Oh, okay. No, this list is bullshit. No way Rodian is among the strongest.
No.
What are the Rodian? I forget.
they're like plants.
Although I wouldn't put it past a species that is aquatic to be stronger than an arboreal species, because
Right.
they got
The
pressure. pressures.
Yeah, but I mean, if they have exoskeletons, they must be pretty strong, but they're not very big.
It doesn't matter. Ants are really strong, but they're not very big.
That's true.
There's the inverse square law. Is it the inverse square law or the inverse cube law?
Yeah. I mean, crabs are pretty strong. You ever been pinched by a crab?
Yes.
Top 26 most powerful species in Star Wars.
Read all 26, Kyle.
Number 5 will break your bones. 26 is a Jawa. Get out of here. 25 is the Vornskins. Tusken Raiders. Oh, Wampas.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're pretty
that's-
strong.
Are Wampas intelligent?
I think they're semi-sentient.
They are sentient. I know that.
Yeah. They don't seem that
Well,
intelligent to me.
But they're not sapiens.
What about Gundarks? Are they on that list?
I closed it.
We'll never know
Dark
who's
is
going
wrong.
to break my bones.
So, Wedge, is he going to single-handedly stop Thrawn's invasion of Slothspan?
Oh, fuck yeah. Let's go.
Is Wedge going to save the day? Are they going to all get captured? And Wedge is going to be the only one to get them out of there?
Yeah.
Unless Wedge becomes the damsel in another tower for the next book. He's going to be captured. And that's going to drive the plot for the Dark Force Rising.
I'm going to be so depressed if he dies, though.
I kind of feel like if Timothy Zahn were to kill off any character that we were familiar with, it would probably be Wedge.
Yeah, he's kind of giving some of those signals.
I was super bummed out when he died in the last movie.
He died in the last movie?
What?
Didn't he?
No, he didn't. No, that's Greg Grunberg.
Who was
Thank
I
God.
thinking? They oh no, his like son-in-law died. There was something stupid with Wedge in the last movie that I
He showed up in a single shot. That's it. Yeah.
They're like, Wedge. He's like, hey, and that's it.
Yeah. No fanfare.
What a mess. I gotta watch it.
Right.
That's of the Star Wars films. I've only watched 7, 8, and 9 once.
But you have seen the other ones, right?
What?
I've only seen the
He's just been
the
pretending this
last
whole
one
time.
once, so... if you've seen the other ones, it's okay. It's okay. Nobody cares about those new
I've
three.
never watched Star Wars. Not a fan.
Yeah. Realistically, though, no, things aren't looking good for Wedge here. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. I believe in him.
Okay. I just have little faith.
Yeah.
Who do you think isn't going to make it out of this book? Do you think the only one I'm like probably going to die is Talon Card for some reason?
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
And then maybe some like minor characters. Like I'm sure there's going to be other people dying in this book, but of like the main
A
people,
bunch of
that we keep-
stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Chin and Ghent?
I'd be more shocked if nobody died.
Mm.
a couple of
Not even-
Noghri are going to die.
Honestly, though, I actually wouldn't be shocked if nobody died.
It's like Timothy
Yeah.
John just cuts the book off. He's like, okay, wait, the rest of these chapters are blank.
No, I mean, I could see it being more like, oh, we have to write more books.
Right.
Yeah.
Books don't have ratings on it. I don't know if this is rated R.
Well, I think it's supposed to be rated the same as a Star Wars movie, so there's going to be a dismemberment of some kind at some point, and somebody will be killed in a very PG-13 way.
Someone will die off page.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think the onomatopoeia of a Wilhelm scream is? Everyone try typing in the show notes.
Yeah, go to our Instagram.
Yeah.
Everyone comment down below what a Wilhelm scream sounds like.
Yes.
Have you seen the podcast alignment chart?
No.
All right, so it's distribution method
Breaks or something.
versus media type and traditionalist, modernist, and radicalist. and you've got only audio as a traditionalist media, audio or video, and the radicalist is any RSS feed is a podcast, which would include things like blogs.
I respect that.
Yeah. The distribution traditionalist is an RSS feed only. Modernist is any audio that is subscribable, so any feed that's subscribable, not just an RSS feed. And then a radicalist is any audio available anywhere.
Ooh.
And then so the radicalist is anything on the internet is a podcast.
Oh man, my Facebook page is a podcast.
The definition of a podcast is a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series, new installments of which can be received by subscribers automatically.
Wow, we sure fit that. We're doing it, guys.
We did it.
Yeah.
So if I remember right, it was originally called a podcast because of the iPod. Isn't that?
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is why I don't like people contracting podcast to a pod. I would much rather call it a cast.
Yeah.
Because it comes from broadcast.
Yeah.
But it's
Sounds
not being
wizard
broadcasted.
too.
It's
Yeah.
I'm definitely Team Wizard.
Yay. All right, so we got rumblings of political tension on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Escalating political tension, rather, because we've seen the seeds of it.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't have quite enough information to see what Phalea's movement is like, but I'm interested to see.
Yeah, we did mention that things are going to converge on Coruscant again because both Leia and Han and Lando are going back to Coruscant.
Yeah.
So do you think they're going to arrive in the middle of some...
A civil war.
civil war? A non-violent coup?
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah. I mean, this book is running out of pages, so we're going to have to see that in the next installment.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim. What else have we got?
What else do we have? I mean, we have what you mentioned. They're heading back to Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
We have Luke and Mara still in the jungle.
Towards the end of their journey?
Yes. We have Han and Lando going after Luke now that they know things. We have Card contemplating his life up to this point.
Yeah.
And then we have Wedge off to Sluis Van, where Thrawn is spectating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, this has been my favorite chapter so far. I'm really excited with what's going on.
It really has set up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of things not just converging at once, but then just rolling right into the next thing.
Yeah.
All right. This has been The Lost Holocron. You can find transcripts, links to discussions, and more at our website, lostholocron.com. While you are there, you can learn how you can support the creation of future episodes. Read on, and we will be waiting for you in the next transmission. We would be honored if you would join us.